Hey everybody, Adam Savage here in my cave, and it has been a while since we have been in my cave. I have not filmed with Norm behind the camera here in over a month. I went to Cape Cod, where my family has a house east of Falmouth, for 2.5 weeks with my wife, which was spectacular. And I do get this question from fans when they hear that I take a vacation, is like, how do I satisfy my building and tool Jones while I am vacating? And one answer is that, like, I have in my life studiously worked towards not doing, so that when I am taking time off, I am very much taking time off. There are things I do that keep work bubbling in my head a little bit, like I'll do sketches, and I'll ideate like mechanical problem solving, just as a sort of like the water I swim in. But besides that, like I've worked hard to not need to be making stuff all the time, so that I can downregulate and like come back to the shop and feel renewed and rejuvenated, which is exactly what happened here. All that being said, Cape Cod has some terrific flea markets, and the Mashpee Flea Market, which is not far from our house, is an excellent one. And I go there every year. And a couple of years ago, I went there and bought this beautiful, oh, wait right there, I'll bring it over. A couple of years ago, I bought this beautiful thing, which is a sort of, it's a cobbler's tool for working on shoes. And I just love this kind of old cast iron tool. So this is Mashpee Flea Market a couple of years ago. This year I scored, in my opinion, big time. I picked up 4 lovely things. First thing I picked up was this, which I'm always gravitating towards tools. Whenever I'm looking at a layout of tools at a flea market or anybody selling them, I'm always looking for the one I don't know, the one I don't know what it is. And I had no idea what this could be. It turns out, apparently, it's an ice processing tool, like an old turn of the century for cracking ice and making it smaller. So apparently this is like a bartender's tool. And I am sure the comments will be full of people correcting me if I'm wrong or telling me about other examples if I'm right. There were 2 of these, and they were quite different. I chose the one with the handle that looked like it had been hand carved and then heavily used. This handle is absolutely something that has been refined by its owner and then used for a couple of decades. It's got a fantastic patina on the handle. So this right there, fantastic score. That would have made the whole day worth it. But I then came across these. And no, I'm not freaky about the handcuffs. I had not encountered, this is a pair of ye olde handcuffs, like 19th century handcuffs. And the way they work is there's actually a threaded rod in here, and the key is just a threaded ferrule, and you push it in, and then this little ring here allows the threads to pull the lock away from the handcuff. There you go. And when you undo it, it just goes back through this little hole. This is how people were handcuffed until modern handcuffs. And like I said, there's a ton of, there are a ton of fake versions of these that were made in the last 30 or 40 years. I believe that this pair is authentically over 100 years old. Again, this is not based on a significant amount of rigorous research yet. This is just based on my intuition of cast iron pieces and their manufacture. But this is a specific lock-based item I have been wanting to add to my collection for a long time. Plus, this beautiful, beautiful little chain pivot here in the middle. It's a really... Sometimes I look at really old stuff and I want to call out how lovely lines can be if someone cares about the lines of a thing. Like the topography of all of the aspects of this. While this is a Marshall component, right? This is meant for This is a terrible thing. It's meant for inhibiting humans' ability to move. So inherently, these are a moral negative to me as an object. At the same time, whoever designed these back in the day, like, had a refined sense of curve and line and where things meet and how they operate and what they look like. There's almost not a line on these that hasn't been cared for, I guess, from a design standpoint. And that makes me really happy. If you want to see what I'm talking about, you could, like, here's something I'll tell you you could do. You could look up a modern skeleton key and take a screenshot of that, and then look at this compared to it. And you see that, like, a modern skeleton key is a piece of stamped metal that kind of holds to some of these design ideas. Like, oh, there's a little heart in the hole of the key or stuff like that. But none of the modern stuff has any refinement because it's been made as a simulacrum of the nice thing instead of the actual nice thing. These are the sort of things that I wax on about when I get to encounter beautiful old tools. So that was number 2. Number 3, I bought this because I didn't know what it was. I bought it because it was weird looking. I also, when I picked it up and I clicked it, it felt brand new. Like the spring has a rigorous return. There's nothing sticky in there. And that told me that whatever it did do, it would still do. So I bought it and I brought it home and I was reading it. And then I saw that it's called a clipless paper fastener, Newton, Iowa, New York, US. And the patented August 2nd, 1910 in USA and foreign countries. And so I was like, clipless paper fastener? Well, we got to see about that. And so then I brought it home and I clicked it, and what it does is so freaking magical. It punches a hole in paper and then takes that hole and wraps it around and pushes it through a slit on the other side of the paper. This is a paper clip. It's a paper clipless paper clip maker. And I actually believe they still make these. This is just spectacular. Another winner in my regard. A tool I bought because I didn't know what it did, and then what it did was even cooler than I thought. That was number 3. It gets even better. Number 4, the last piece, this hammer. This hammer. What could this possibly be for? I am super curious. I would love to know what you think. It seems very, actually is crystal clear to me that the hammer and its handle are original and have always been together. You can see that because you can see these original tool marks on the end of this hammer where the wood comes through and the wedge comes in. And they are all still aligned and it looks real old. There's a patina on this. This isn't a modern, these guys weren't joined in the last 20 years. They were joined, I don't know, more decades than that. But here's my question is why would, oh, right, there's also an inscription on the head, F.A. Fairmount, 1509. I didn't even go look that up. So here's my question. What would you need such a tool for? It seems clear to me that the business end is this pecker here. I mean, this is like a nut almost, but, and it's also clear that like, it's done most of its work there. This is the smooth part of the hammerhead. This one, while it's a little flattened out here, does not look like it's gotten near the amount of use as this one. Could this be a maintenance tool? I thought maintenance because maintenance would be like a tool specifically built to get in somewhere where you could affect something. It's also got some marks around its perimeter, like it's been jammed into some kind of collet at some point. But maybe it was made to open a flange. I really don't know. And this is the most spectacular of the 3 objects whose origin I don't understand. Well, I understand now, potentially, but this one is the one I find most mysterious. And you know how much I love hammers. I have over 60 in this shop. And this is currently the weirdest hammer I possess. So I was delighted to pick this up. All of this was less than $100 or something at the Mashpee Flea Market. So thank you, Mashpee Flea Market, for all those fun adventures. I had a lot of entertainment positing what this could possibly be for, and I'm dying to hear what you think in the comments. And yeah, if you know specifically, and also, by the way, I'd love confirmation that this is a bartender's tool. It makes sense, but I'd love confirmation. All right, there's my flea market finds. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Oh, wait right there. I'll bring it over. Wait a second. Yes, here we go. A couple of years ago,